Welcome into Rate Field as we get set to start the finale of this series against the Athletics. And a day game to finish off this first half of the season before we start this all-star break. And the White Sox will give the ball to the tall lefty, 6'10" Noah Schultz on the mound.
And hopefully today Noah gets the ball over the plate. If he gets ahead of hitters, he's pretty tough to hit. But when he starts to walk guys, then it becomes problematic for him. And the only thing stopping him from being a big star in this game is the ability to command all of his pitches. When he gets that stuff is lively enough to be able to win pretty big in the major leagues.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Athletics. It'll be Jacob Wilson starting at short, Joshua Kuroda-Grauer third, Langoliers behind the plate, Heim, Thomas Meneses at first, Butler, Bolte, and Alika Williams at second.
There is a look at Noah Schultz on for his 11th start, the ERA an even 6. As you can tell, with 43 strikeouts, that's good. 29 walks is not. He's aware of that, and hopefully he can clear it up here this afternoon. Hard hit percentage just 37.6%, and this is how he's going to use his stuff. The sinker, a quarter of the time, backed up by the four-seam fastball and the sweeper. Then he'll throw a cutter, which keeps right-handers honest because it comes inside on their hands. 9% changeups. That's a pitch getting better, and when he learns to use it a bit more, I think he's going to be tougher to hit. Let's take a look at the defense. And this is how Will lines them up today, with Sam, Tristan, and Brayton in the outfield left to right. Then Vargas, Montgomery, Meidroth, and Murakami in the infield. Kyle Teal has got the plate. We told you about Noah Schultz, and he appears to be ready to go.
Beautiful day in Chicago for some day baseball as Noah Schultz digs in on the rubber. And he will face the shortstop Jacob Wilson to get this one started. First pitch from the rookie. And it catches the zone, strike one.
Wilson's had a good series. He's had 4 hits, as you can see, including a triple. And this year, a pretty good year, although the power numbers are down.
Problem for the A's is that they have been hitless in their last 22 at-bats with runners in scoring position. They're a season-high 6-game losing streak right now coming into play today.
Well, hopefully the Sox can extend that and wish them a happy All-Star break.
Just over the head of Murakami at first base. So a single from Jacob Wilson. That's how we get this one started.
The weather is presented by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. 82 beautiful degrees, humidity at 68%, and the wind, it is a factor, blowing from left field to right field, just as it did the first game of the series. Doug Eddings calls strikes 9% above major league average away to left-hand hitters.
Joshua Kuroda-Grauer 3 for 7 this series, and the newcomer for the A's, who has gotten playing time with all the injuries, making the most of his opportunity.
That's the first cutter he's thrown, and that was a good one.
Kuroda-Grauer, just 23 years old, former 3rd-round pick of the A's back in 2024 out of Rutgers.
He's gotten a pretty good start, but I wonder, has he ever hit into a double play?
Let's see. It's amazing when you look back on that 2024 draft. Even though he was a 3rd rounder, there are so many players from that draft making an impact already. And as the White Sox just finished up day 1 of the draft here, 2026, we are seeing players get to the majors faster than ever.
This Oakland team was supposed to be an offensive powerhouse, but they've had so many injuries, especially to Nick Kurtz, who is one of those guys that you can project probably 40 home runs plus. Mark Kotsay, a fine manager, but without a whole lot of talent to deal with.
Ground ball. Vargas at third, starts it off at second, over to first. Well, Steve, you asked for it. How about a 5-4-3 variety?
And a nice turn by Mydroth at second. Good pick by Vargas at third. There is the double play. And they had to do it pretty quickly because Kuroda Grauer went down the line well. Watch it again. Good pick. Thrown across, and Mydroth on the turn. It's our Steinhoffels double play. Steinhoffels donates $200 to Special Spaces Illinois for every double play. Double plays that make a difference.
You would love to see a nice quick first inning for Noah Schultz.
This is a guy you got to worry about here. He's had a very quiet series, as you can see, but he does hit the lefties. Not up there, but he does hit them.
Langoliers leads this starting lineup today with 20 home runs, and look at this shot. The power is on display as Langoliers launches his 21st home run of the season, and it's the A's an early 1-0 lead.
And that's why I worry about that guy. Now driven in 46. With Kurtz gone for a while, Langoliers is the guy they look to. It's our Lexus Experience Amazing home run replay. This is out over the plate. Doesn't break as well as Noah would have liked, and it's a 1-run deficit.
Now you think, just how big was that double play ball?
Could have been a big inning. So you get out with 1 run because that's what you're looking at now, and turn it over to the offense. Facing a right-hander should be a nice day for the Sox offense today.
High cutter is called again, as it looks like Doug Eddings will call those pitches upstairs. Jonah Heim 0 for 8 this series in the DH spot today.
He is a switch hitter who is much better from the right side, and that's how he'll look at Noah Schultz.
Schultz leaps up to grab it, the throw over, and will end this top of the first. White Sox bats coming up when we come back.
Hi, I'm Caleb True. I am 9 years old. I am in 4th grade. I attend Mark Sheridan Elementary. The White Sox manager is Will Benable. Here is today's starting lineup. Leading off is Sam Antonacci. Batting second is Monet. Hitting third, Miguel Vargas. Batting fourth, Colson Montgomery. Batting fifth, Andrew Benintendi. Hitting sixth, Kyle Teal. Batting seventh, Braden Montgomery. Hitting eighth, Christian Peters. Batting ninth, Chase Mydroth. Let's go Sox!
Very nicely done. Okay, Caleb.
I think he's got a future in broadcasting. Did a very nice job on the lineups.
Just 9 years old. That is not an easy task to do.
Take a look at JT Ginn on for his 18th start, 21st appearance, a fine ERA of 3.10 in almost 100 innings of work.
Antonacci. How about this start? Back it goes. Get out. Antonacci starts things off with a bang, and we are tied here in this first inning. The left fielder with his 6th home run of the season.
And it shows you when you fall behind even on the table setters, you're going to have to come in with a pretty good pitch at 2-0. And Sam rode it well out of the ballpark. It's right down the middle, center cut. Sam gets every bit of it. And after missing twice inside, Ginn left it out over the plate and cost him the lead.
There is Munetaka Murakami as Antonacci gets some loves from his guys.
Even though Monet is not where he's going to be when he gets a few more at bats, it's just a much more impressive lineup with him in the lineup, because you've got a game plan around him and his power. Then you have Antonacci as the table setter ahead of him.
Just the third game back for Murakami since coming back off the injured list with that hamstring. 1 for 8 this series, including an RBI double.
Pretty good changeup from Ginn, and he doesn't tip it with his motion. So being one of the few times that our lineup is going to see him, it's difficult to adjust first time around.
One of the things the A's are going to look for with their starter Ginn, he was pulled from his last outing on Tuesday after just 4 innings. There'd been a stomach bug that was going through the clubhouse for the A's, and he was one of the guys who got it. So the changeup misses as Murakami will walk. That White Sox walk is presented by IDOT. No need to speed. It's not a game.
That's one of the things that we have come to find out about Munet's abilities, is that he will take a walk. He very rarely expands his strike zone. That will keep up the on base percentage.
So back-to-back all-stars in the lineup as Miguel Vargas steps in.
There was a timeout call.
Yeah, pitch clock violation on the pitcher, so ball 1.
So that's good. You erase strike 1, replace it with ball 1.
White Sox already erasing the deficit on the Sam Antonacci home run to tie this game.
Gill's had a nice series.
This one is ripped into left field. Thomas is going to have to play it off the wall. Murakami will be held at third. So a double from Miguel Vargas, and the Sox are cooking to start this one.
Ginn leaves this out over the plate, and this double is brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile double warranty. Nice way to start it off here, as the Sox bats are booming.
Colts Montgomery has a hit in the first 2 games of this series as he chases that changeup, strike 1.
And for Mark Kotsay, he's decided to play the infield back in the middle. They're going to concede the run to get an out.
Back-to-back changeups as Colson Montgomery is going to look to reset in the box. A home run, a walk, and a double for this White Sox lineup to start this first inning. 0-2. All right, it's time to look at the lines to watch presented by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Steve, who do you like to hit a home run today?
I like Antonacci. Of course, he's not up there, but I like him anyway. So I will take Miguel Vargas.
3 straight changeups as the sinker sails out of the zone. One of the things the A's noticed about Ginn in that outing on Tuesday was that his fastball velocity was down about 3 miles per hour. That's how they knew something was off.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking at 92. I know it's early in this one, but 92 when you miss your spot, that's a problem if it doesn't sink.
That one did sink into the zone, called strike 3.
We'll watch it again, and Colson has had some difficulties with less than 2 outs bringing home that man from third base. Well, he's looking at a fastball in the inside corner, turns it over to Benintendi, and this is an auspicious day for Benny.
Huge congratulations to Andrew Benintendi, reaching 10 years of Major League Baseball service time today. Steve, it is a huge honor for anyone who suits up to reach this milestone in their career.
It's less than 10% of all the guys who get to the major leagues actually get in the 10 years. Well, certainly his teammates are very happy for him, and that's a proud moment for Benny.
Cutter missing up and in, ball 2. He made his debut with the Red Sox back on August 2nd, 2016, and that was that epic team that went on to win the World Series for Boston. And now they will intentionally walk Benintendi to load the bases. Brooke, it is a huge honor, and it has meant so much to everyone on this White Sox team.
And even just talking to Will Venable before the game, he told me that he's just the right type of leader to have in this clubhouse. Same with Randall Grichuk, especially with such a young group. They're not forcing anything on these young guys. They're kind of taking the approach, hey, my locker, it's always open. Whenever you need to come to me just to get advice or even just talk baseball, learn more about the game. Benny has been such a huge asset for that. And you talk about the celebration, the guys before the game, they celebrated in the clubhouse. I asked Benny, well, did they get you anything? They got him a nice bottle of bourbon. I'm pretty sure it's Pappy Van Winkle. I think that's what he said. He said, I'm not sure if I'm going to open it quite yet, but I said, you got to celebrate. You got to have a glass, right?
It is sitting up in his locker right now. As a big swing and a miss from Kyle Teel. They also had a video of former players who had played with Benintendi give him a message, and then there was a picture of Benintendi that was signed by everybody in the clubhouse. He said that meant the world to him.
Well, he certainly enjoys being here, and this team enjoys his presence in the locker room.
Teel rips this one into right field. Murakami, he will score. They're going to send Vargas as the throw is cut off. A 2-run single for Kyle Teel as the White Sox take their first lead of the game, 3-1.
Kyle's another guy that has missed extensive time, but he goes out of the strike zone for this changeup. He does a nice job of keeping his hands back, which is the only way you can hit a changeup well. And the offense continues to roll right along.
White Sox won the opener of this series on Friday 14-1. Yesterday it was close and tight, just a 1-0 win. But the offense looking really good to start this one.
Yesterday, one of the highlights was Acuna at shortstop making 4 different plays that were almost highlight reel in quality. And without that, you don't win a 1-0 game.
Montgomery drives this one to right field as Butler at the wall. It gets out. Butler thought he had it lined up, but it's Braden Montgomery going deep, and it is all Sox to start this one.
There's more than a little magic in this baseball team as they'll head into the All-Star break. And right here, another fastball that catches the middle of the plate. Braden goes up, hits it out, and Butler, who thought he was going to make that catch, has it hit off the glove and into the bullpen.
White Sox put up a 6 spot, the most first inning runs they have scored all season long, as the previous high was 4 in the first.
Well, I felt today coming in that this was going to be an offensive day for this lineup. It's a good effort by Butler, but he comes up short.
Ooh, just nicks off his glove. Now it's Peters as he sends this one down the line foul.
There might be some baseball teams that you would worry about in the last game before the All-Star break. The White Sox are not one of those teams. They're going to grind each and every inning as if it's the last inning and you're down a run. With that in mind, Jose Suarez starting to loosen up in the pen.
It was a message from Will Venable delivered to not just the players but also the staff before this series started, saying don't even think about what your All-Star break plans are. We have games to be played. Let's lock in and focus our attention on the A's. And the White Sox have handled their business.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Will is a very good manager now, and he will be a great manager going down the road. One of the keys for all managers, you got to have some talent, and the Sox are adding talent to the major league roster seemingly on a daily basis.
Tristan Peters now gives this one a ride, but it's going to be at Butler in right. It's 2 down here in this first inning. Third big league home run for Braden Montgomery.
We're just seeing the beginnings of what's going to be a terrific career for him. He plays a very good defense. He has an enormously strong arm, and he will eventually hit for power from both sides of the plate.
Chase Majoth, who we have seen hit all over this batting order in the 9-hole here today.
I think the thought process on Will Venable was you put Majoth at 9, then you have Antonacci into the 3 bangers on the team, Murakami, Vargas, and Montgomery. So you have actually 2 table setters if the lineup works out that way, and Majoth has done a great job this first half.
Slider catches the corner, called strike 3. How about Sam Antonacci starting things off with a bang?
2-0 pitch goes floating out of the ballpark, and then Montgomery makes it 6-1 as we.
A promising future.
Welcome back. It's the top of the second, and it's time for a scoop from the clubhouse. The White Sox are heading into the All-Star break in the playoff race, and we'll attest that to less about the record and more about the process. He told me, listen, since day one, it's never been about wins or losses. It's more about, hey, are the guys preparing the right way? Are they competing? Are they sticking to the identity? And this group has been able to do that on a consistent basis. Now, he told me he understands in the second half there's going to be more pressure, but he told me the approach, it doesn't change. That's what's gotten us here, and he expects that mindset the rest of the way. And somebody that I feel like maybe embodies that mindset, I heard he's up in the booth with you guys, Rock Chalowski. Welcome to Chicago, Rock.
Thank you for having me.
Special guest, first overall pick by the White Sox in the draft yesterday, Rock Chalowski. What's going on? Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
What has the last 24 hours been like for you?
I mean, just a whirlwind of, emotions, events. Waking up yesterday, getting the phone call that, the White Sox were going to take me was, was one of the coolest things that I've ever, heard or, been a part of. And then, being able to go through the day and celebrate with my people was, pretty special too. And then just hopping on a flight this morning to get out here was pretty cool too.
How long before the draft did the White Sox let you know that you were the guy?
About 2 hours before the pick, I found out at like 8:45, 9 in the morning. Kept it to myself, didn't tell anybody. Parents weren't too happy about that. I let them find out on TV with everybody else, but I wanted them to be surprised.
You were very emotional when the pick was announced. You were in tears with your family. Describe what you were feeling at that moment and why the emotions were all coming out like that.
Yeah, I mean, a couple reasons. I mean, the biggest one, it's a dream come true. I mean, everyone dreams of getting drafted. Everyone dreams of being the first pick. And, that just coming to fruition was, a lot for me to, overcome. And then, just being with you guys, the White Sox, I came out here about a month ago and just fell in love with the city and the people in the organization. And, it was just something that I wanted to get back to. And, the fact that we made it work out to where, I could come back here now, it meant a lot to me.
The last time you were here, Braden Montgomery hit a home run. Today you're here, he hit another home run. So it could be that he's going to pay for you to be here quite a bit. But looking ahead, what are the plans for you going forward?
Yeah, so I'll head back home on Monday to Arizona, and then Wednesday I'll fly out to Charlotte to their AAA spot, and we'll have camp for, I think it's 4 days, and then get sent back out to Arizona for some workouts, and then hopefully get sent out to go play. So.
There was a lot of excitement when the pick was announced. It was on the big screen here at the stadium. A lot of fans were really excited that you had your name called. How would you describe your game and introduce yourself to White Sox fans?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm a very well-rounded player. I try and elevate all 5 of my tools as much as possible. But the biggest thing about me is my competitiveness. I love to win, and that's all I really care about. And that's what I come to the field with every day.
When you were here and went into that locker room, you saw the celebration, obviously, that the Sox had won in a walk-off fashion. What did you think at that point about this ball club and the guys that were in that locker room at that time?
Yeah, I mean, they just have a lot of fun. I mean, it felt like a college clubhouse is, what I told all my buddies when I went back. And, everybody everyone seemed to enjoy each other's company and, seeing each other succeed. So, just being in that clubhouse, it was a lot of fun for me, and it was something I wanted to get back to.
Your name had emerged pretty early on. You were the front runner as the first overall pick back to the beginning of your season at UCLA. What was the last year like for you, continually seeing your name at the top?
Yeah, just trying to tune it all out and, stay present. I had a lot of goals this year with my team at UCLA, and, just really trying to put that, as the main focus was, the best thing for me. It helped me really stay present and, be where my feet were at. But, it was pretty cool to see early on, being projected the first guy to go. And then, just trying to play my best baseball and, trying to eliminate all the outside stuff to get back here.
What have you learned going from last year to this year? You had 2 great years in a row and recognized as such. How much better a player were you this year than you were last year?
I think that I was a lot better. I put a lot of work in the offseason, and, I just got a lot smarter as, you get older in baseball, learn a lot more. And, I think that extra year, that sophomore year, just really helped me going into my junior year.
All right, so it is Kids Day. It's a special broadcast for us. We got a lot of families watching, a lot of kids, a lot of young baseball players. What advice would you give to young kids who are watching this at home who hope to be in your position one day?
Yeah, just make it as fun as possible. I mean, that's why I have a love for the game, and that's why I show up every day and want to do what I'm doing now is just because I have so much fun doing it. There's nothing else that I want to do. So, keeping it light, keeping it a game. Obviously it gets a little more stressful as you get older, and things start to change. But I mean, just having as much fun with it as you can is the biggest thing that I'd have.
What are some of those things that you do to keep the game fresh and fun for you?
Yeah, celebrating the little things. It's a big game of failure. Everyone says it, but success is it's hard to get in this game. So really just celebrating those small wins helps a lot.
When you go back to Arizona, you're from Chandler, and you're going to be able to work out there because that's where the minor league facility is. What do you want to accomplish early to set the stage for your inevitable playing here in the major leagues?
Yeah, I just want to win at every level that I'm at. I feel like I can get better with winning. I feel like winning brings, a lot of guys together, and, there's a lot of good things about it. So, just trying to win at every level is what I'm, most excited to do.
I know you said you're excited to be here in Chicago. You talked about the guys, the atmosphere. What about the city have you been able to experience so far?
Yeah, when I was out here about a month ago, I took it upon myself to just explore. I had dinner with, Getz and Barfield the first night I was here, and we got done at around 11 midnight, and I think I walked around the city till about 3 in the morning. And then the next day after having lunch with Fuller, walked around for another 5 hours before I had to come here to the game. So, I fell in love with it. I'd never been out here before. I really didn't know what to expect, but I mean, I'm a big foodie. There was a lot of good food spots that I checked out. And, you know, it's just beautiful. The buildings, the beaches. I didn't know you guys had beaches, to be honest. But, yeah, you know, it was a good time.
All right, so this guy has all the best restaurants in Chicago. So when you get here, hit up Steve Stone. He'll take care of you.
I can tell you certainly where they are and maybe ease your path to get a reservation. So,
perfect.
But
I'll
first
definitely
things
use
first,
you then.
go down and really enjoy this time, because each and every moment is a learning experience to a young player who's never been through it. Whether you're 1-1 or whether you're drafted in the 40th round, it won't matter once you put on that uniform. So what was the message from the White Sox personnel to you when you go back to Arizona?
Yeah, just development. You know, everyone's path is different. You know, not everyone gets to the big leagues in a year and a half like some of these guys are doing, and it takes some guys longer. You know, just trying to, you know, really elevate, you know, the parts of my game that, you know, they think that I can definitely get better at is, you know, the main focus for me being here.
What was the combine like? Because baseball had a whole lot of their top picks in Arizona. You were there. What was it like for you?
I mean, it's great being at home. You know, having the combine in Arizona is pretty cool. But, you know, it was a cool experience. You know, it didn't work out. Did a lot of media and then met with the teams. But, you know, the meetings were a lot of fun just because, you know, you've met with these teams prior, and then being able to, you know, talk to them about what's going to happen in a couple weeks is very cool.
All right, that'll do it. Rock Chalowski, first overall pick, future Chicago White Sox. Hope to see you here in the big leagues soon.
Thank you. Me too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome back. Bottom of the second we go. White Sox with a 6-1 lead over the Athletics this half inning. Brought to you by Wintrust. Really enjoyed getting to meet Rock Chalowski, first overall pick by the White Sox. Just a very confident, poised young man, also very humble. Looking forward to see what he can accomplish as he makes his way through the minor leagues.
Well, you have to believe, John, that this is a young man who's all about winning. And I'm sure at the combine, all these picks, top 100 guys, met with all of the teams. And I think that was one of the central messages. That's what they like, the competitiveness of Rock Chalowski.
Shortstop for the UCLA Bruins, just 21 years old, 52 home runs in 178 career games with UCLA. Was a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award, Best Player in College. As Antonacci gets plunked with a pitch. So he led off with a home run. Now hit by a pitch to start this bottom of the second.
Sam, no stranger to that. A lot of people like to work him in. This is a cutter. And as you can see, he turns the top part of his body, but just gets hit. We would say it was a bad break, but he's gotten hit a lot. In fact, that was number 18. He's been hit 18 times in just over half a season.
Fastball catches the top of the zone as Murakami
strike call.
will challenge that pitch.
Yeah, that would look like a strike to me.
The pitch was a strike. The White Sox are our challengers.
So in the second inning, the White Sox lose both of their challenges already. Murakami walked and scored. And the sinker catches the inner third, strike three.
You watch the movement on it. It starts at the hands of Murakami, but shaves off the inside corner.
It was a very cool scene pregame to see Vargas, Murakami, and Peters all on the field receiving their All-Star Game jerseys. And there it is. They're playing with each other.
Une says, take the glasses off, Hollywood. Come on. We got to take an important picture here.
Just the second trio of White Sox position players to be selected in the same season since 1961. Last time it happened, 2006. That was Jermaine Dye, Paul Konerko, A.J. Brzezinski. And now the White Sox have a new trio going to Philadelphia.
It is a whole new world talent-wise. Took a while for the White Sox to build that farm system, and this year with all the injuries, it led to 12 major league debuts so far. Yeah, looking to see if he needs a new bat. But apparently that one's still in one piece. That's pretty impressive. Only happened 5 other times.
Ground ball that'll dribble through the hole into left field. So Miguel Vargas with a double, now a single here in the second inning. Well, you like to see this by the offense. You put up 6 runs in the first inning, and there's no let up against the starter here in the second.
Again, just doesn't have real good stuff today, and the Sox are trying to take advantage of it.
It was a steady diet of changeups the first time for Colson Montgomery as he went down looking. With today's technology, after each at bat, guys will go into the dugout, look at the iPad, see how pitchers attack them, and what adjustments they have to make the next time at the plate. This one is popped up. Infield fly is called. And there's 2 down here in the second inning.
Mark Kotsay is going to leave Ginn in this game as long as he can. Even with the All-Star break, you just don't want to get into that bullpen quite this early.
Not in an easy position right now. They've lost 8 in a row. Ton of their stars on the injured list, and they just need to get healthy at this point.
And that was the big factor, because everybody thought coming into this year that the A's were going to be an offensive machine, and they were going to score a lot of runs, and they would have to, because it didn't look like the pitching staff was in real good shape coming into this year. And now with all the injuries, it's affected their offense.
Brent Rooker, he is done for the season. Zach Geloff went on the injured list.
Rooker's a big loss because he was their big power guy in the middle to go with Soderstrom, who also has got some big power, and he's a left-hand hitter.
Benintendi tops this one as Ginn covering will end this second inning. It's been a fun day at the ballpark, and we are just getting started. White Sox a 6-1 lead after 2. Welcome back. Top of the third we go. This half inning is brought to you by Hyundai. Make sure you got a hat or a visor. It is sunny, it is hot, but it is beautiful here at Wright Field.
Especially with a 6-1 lead, and it happened early. A big first inning.
The only blemish for Noah Schultz, the solo home run he gave up to Shea Langoliers in the first inning, but he really settled down nicely in the second.
Nice double play turned behind him, limited the damage.
Noah Schultz looking to get his season back on track in his first 4 starts, an ERA just over 2.5. But in his last 6 starts, he is 0-5 with an ERA just under 9.
Most of it due to a lot of walks and a lot of falling behind.
Look at a guy in the bullpen like Chris Murphy. They told him, you gotta get around the plate more. You've got to cut down on your walks, and he has really turned his season around as a reliever. Changeup lands. Good pitch from Noah Schultz. All right, we got Connor McKnight in Philly for the Futures game. Connor, what do you got?
All right, guys, thanks so much. Caleb Bonham was 0 for 2 in the Futures game, but the future is very much set, just like the stage getting set here behind me for more All-Star festivities. Bonham took batting practice and was pulled aside by Kenny Lofton. Kenny wanted to tell him that Caleb's got a lot of pop in that swing. Caleb also met Ken Griffey Jr. here at the Futures game, which for me is really like a 2 for 2. Bonham's the future. More to come from him in the second half. John, Steve, back to you.
All right, Connor, thank you so much. That's really the coolest part about being at an elite event like the Futures game, All-Star festivities in Philadelphia. You get to meet all the legends and pick their brain about what it took to get to that level of baseball.
Well, you need to be very inquisitive, because any bit of knowledge that is imparted on you makes you a better player. And when you talk about some of the all-time greats that are in attendance there, you get a chance to talk to them. Ask them about what they did in certain situations. I mean, because Bonham's going to be a pretty good hitter, and he should learn from a guy in Ken Griffey Jr. who was one of the best.
You just mentioned his name, and I think it can take so many of us back to being younger and trying to emulate that swing. I wasn't a lefty, but I was swinging lefty because of Ken Griffey Jr. I was trying to get that sweet looking stroke. On the ground, it is Colson Montgomery. And a nice 9-pitch inning for Noah Schultz to end this top of the 3rd.
Today's game is brought to you by Marquette Bank. Marquette Bank is Chicagoland's trusted neighborhood bank and home lender. So level up your banking at Marquette Bank at emarquettebank.com. Marquette Bank. Love where you bank.
We appreciate you, as always, spending your Sunday afternoon with us here on CHSN with Brooke Fletcher on the field, Connor McKnight in Philly, Steve Stone, I'm John Schriffen. What a start to this one. 6-1 White Sox on top. Kyle Teal had a 2-run single in that big first inning. It'll be important for him to keep this momentum going. He missed so much of the season with that hamstring and then the knee. With the layoff, just hope his timing stays sharp for the second half of the season.
Well, he came through with a base hit in the first inning, and he's starting to look a little better on his swing path. He normally is a dead pull hitter. He's going to hit the ball to the right side most of the time, but something happened in Cleveland, something that he's not used to. He homered opposite field. That was the first of his professional career to the opposite field.
Well, there is no doubt that he has plenty of strength. And he is one of those guys who just loves to live in a batting cage. They got to pull him out just to be like, hey, you're in the starting lineup today. Save some of that energy for game time. But it's those kind of guys you want to fill your organization with. I mean, you could feel it from Rock Chalowski. That is the kind of guy who just wakes up thinking about baseball and what he can do to improve every day.
That's one of the things that all the teams that interviewed with him probably picked up right away, and that's how you go 1-1.
I loved his message, though, to young kids. You have to keep it fun. It's important to have goals, right? But if you're not having fun in anything, you're not going to stick with it long term.
That's one of the characteristics of this clubhouse and this dugout.
as Teal goes down swinging on the changeup. Let's go to Brooke.
Well, Rock Chalowski is here, but so is the other first-round pick for the White Sox, Landon Thome, the 34th overall pick. He is the son of Hall of Famer Jim Thome, and he told me he's so proud to represent his dad and carry on that family legacy, but he's also just really confident in who he is bringing to this organization.
They're good. Competitor, a winner, someone who's been around the game for so long, and then just someone who can impact the game in all 5 ways. I think that's so important. I love to watch Bobby Witt, and just the way he impacts the game in all 5 ways. It's something that I strive to do and strive to be like one day.
Well, guys, you'd imagine he grew up coming to this ballpark as a kid, and so he said it's just a dream and just something that he's really proud of, possibly bringing a World Series back to the city that he loves so much. And I did ask him, well, is it a different feeling coming back to this park now that you're part of the organization? And he laughed and he said, yeah, everybody knows who I am now. So that was a big adjustment when I showed up today.
Brooke, when we spoke to him and when he spoke to the media, did it seem like he was 18 years old? Because to me, it seemed like he had done this so many times before.
No, not at all. That was the biggest thing that I was impressed with, was just the way he carries himself, the maturity as a high schooler. But, you know, talking with him and Rock Chalowski and just some of the guys within the White Sox organization under Chris Getz in this front office, you could tell there's a certain type of player that they want. Good character, good, hardworking kids, and you can really tell meeting these two gentlemen here today, guys.
I said, is there any pressure with that last name, Thome? He said, yeah, you know, sometimes in high school, guys will rip on you, but personally, he goes, I love it because I get to lean on my dad for so much advice. And anytime I have an issue, he is always there to let me know what I need to do.
Well, you need to get as strong as your father. That really helps.
Tristan Peters will fly this one into right field. And that'll do it for this 3rd inning. White Sox holding on to that 6-1 lead. All right, let's flash things back. We're talking about the great Jim Thome. September 16th, 2007, here in Chicago. And it launches number 500. Talk about the strength.
Well, he's got and had tremendous power to left center field. One of the strongest hitters I've ever seen going the opposite way. But when you hit over 600 homers, you're going to hit a lot of home runs to all fields.
On the ground, it is Miguel Vargas. The throw across, and he airmails Murakami. And there is his wife, Andrea. She was pregnant at the time with their son Landon, who is now a part of the White Sox organization. What a full circle moment.
Jim was a great player and a beloved player wherever he went. He made a lot of stops, and seemingly every place he plays decided to build a statue of him, which shows you a very good guy and a very talented guy.
We also got a chance to catch up with Jim Thome before the game, who talked about the process of having his son drafted by the White Sox. And he said it's a delicate balance being a dad and also a coach who wants to push their son to be the best that they can be. But he said the key is you've got to be a dad first. He said you've got to make sure that you are there for them, making sure that they love the game of baseball first, and then you can throw BP, you can give advice, you can push them when they need to be pushed, but you can just see the love he has letting his son celebrate this moment.
Well, for Jim, it's just thrilling, knowing you did something at a very high level for a long time, and then the goal is when you have a son, you hope that he's able to attain somewhat of what you attained in this game.
Father and son before the game. I mean, look at the smiles, right? Landon, who grew up coming to games here, now puts on the White Sox jersey himself. As this one is poked into right field. So after the error, a single by Jonah Heim, and the A's a couple runners to start this 4th inning.
It's a pretty good pitcher's pitch. But Heim catches it off the end of the bat. 2 on, nobody out.
Now, the White Sox almost did not have Landon Tomei because they had to pull off that trade to get the 34th pick from the Pirates. Flare to right field. Montgomery has to race in, and he will get there. Out number 1. This half inning is brought to you by Toyota. So Landon said as soon as he saw that trade, he said, wait a minute, there's a possibility that the White Sox could select me. And then around pick 24, he got a call from his agent saying that if he was still available at 34, the White Sox would select him.
And that they did. Still got a lot of growing to do. The Tomeis, you would expect, will raise some pretty big and strong boys.
Brooke, what other advice did Jim have for his son?
Well, he told him, hey, know who you are. He's told us, you know, every level gets harder, but if you understand your strengths, just continuing to work on your weaknesses and don't lose sight of the player you are, you'll give yourself the best chance to succeed. And I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, and that's just kind of the advice that he wanted to give his young son, just trying to navigate at this level, because we know how much of a grind it is.
It's going to be a roller coaster of a ride. Nothing is given to anyone, especially when you're working your way through the minor leagues. So good advice from the older Tomei.
I'm sure he will also give him some tips on how to hit, because Jim spent a great deal of time trying to hone his craft. He came up with third baseman, later moved across the diamond to first, but he hit wherever he went.
Bases loaded jam here for Noah Schultz as he dots the corner. Strike 1 to Lawrence Butler. He got Butler to strike out looking back in the second inning. It's the first real tough spot of the game so far here for Noah Schultz.
You would think that Noah is thinking about a strikeout here. Best way to do that is on that sweeper.
One ball, 2 strikes. Ooh, Steve Stone just dial it up.
Well, there it was, and Butler way out in front, lost command of the strike zone. This ball is absolutely unhittable, and a big strikeout.
One of the many reasons why Schultz is so devastating versus lefties. And now he faces the righty, Henry Bolte. On the ground to Colson Montgomery. Gets the force at second, and Noah Schultz gets out of the bases loaded jam.
Follow our White Sox at ChicagoSportsNetwork.com, presented by Nationwide Insurance Agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side.
Bottom of the 4th we go. White Sox with a 6-1 lead over the A's. Final game before the All-Star break. Clearly you can see the White Sox, they have maintained being locked in. Bottom of the order, Chase Mydroth will lead things off as he went down looking back in the first inning. This half inning is brought to you by Davis Law Firm. A starter JT Ginn. They had the bullpen going early in the game during that rough first inning.
But now he's trying to save the ball club by getting as many outs as he can. And Mark Kotsay with enough confidence in a pitcher who was 7-5, a winning record for a team that's well below 500. So Ginn has had a good first half.
The thing about Ginn is that he came into this game 98 1/3 innings pitched. That was the highest single season total he has had so far in his 3rd big league season. Kuroda Grauer makes the throw across the diamond as Maedroth is retired here in this bottom of the 4th. And let's take a look at day 1 as we recap the draft for the White Sox. Rock Chalowski #1, Landon Thome landed 2. And another infielder, a pitcher, a couple pitchers with their with the picks at 77 and 105.
Oregon State always has a pretty good program, as does Georgia. So the Sox availed themselves of some players from high-powered conferences.
Day 2 of the MLB draft is going on right now. And Major League Baseball putting everything in Philadelphia, as that is the center of the baseball world over this next week. I saw in the clubhouse the guys already have their all-star bags. Peters was putting his equipment in there as they will be sent off after the game today. And Antonacci caught looking, strike 3.
Sam thought it was a little high. Doug Eddings said it wasn't, and Sam wants to stay in this game. The call has been made, so just sit down, young man. Nothing you can do about it now except getting tossed out of the game. Actually had a piece of the upper part of the zone.
Throughout this draft process, we've got a chance to talk to some of the high-level scouts within the White Sox organization. And a theme that keeps coming up is the character of these young men and the players that they are scouting. And if there's a message young players can take away from this most recent draft, is everybody is watching everything you do. From the moment you leave the parking lot, you step out onto the field, how you unpack your bags, how you interact with your teammates, how you respond to a strikeout. It's not just the stats you're putting up. They're watching how you carry yourself on and off the field.
Well, there are a lot of teams that will take a questionable character guy. The White Sox are not one of them. And they realize that you can ruin a clubhouse by one addition. And right now, this is an exceptional clubhouse. The Sox would love and will keep it that way.
Fastball tying up Murakami. He goes down swinging. The White Sox after 4, a 6-1 lead. Welcome back. This half inning is brought to you by St. Xavier University. Noah Schultz, the starter for the White Sox, on the mound to start this 5th. What have you thought so far of his day?
I thought he's throwing many more first pitch strikes, and that really sets up the at bat. He also pitched out of a tough jam last inning. It started with the air and then 2 base hits, but a strikeout and a force out got him out with no runs. That is great progress. That means that pitching over an error for any pitcher means your concentration gets better when you're facing adversity. And if you can have that as part of your arsenal, you're going to be in pretty good shape. I like the fact that he's throwing a few more changeups today than he normally does, because eventually that's going to be a very big pitch for him.
Gets the fly ball into right field. as Montgomery moving over to his left will make the catch. One away. It's time now for a message from Ankin Law.
I'm with Chicago shortstop Colson Montgomery. You're on his team first.
Yeah, I've always worked hard for the team rather than myself.
I get it. If you've been injured, my team is here to help. Call 312-6-million. Injury law made personal. That's Ankin Law.
One of the things I love about these Sundays at home, as Kids Day, we get a chance to really teach the game. And I think, Steve, you're one of the best teachers in the entire game of baseball. Talking about the changeup and the importance of that pitch, especially for young pitchers to develop it. How important is it for them?
Well, number one, it gives you a tremendous weapon, mostly when you're ahead of hitters.
Ground ball goes under the glove of Colson Montgomery.
It'll be the second Sox error of the day. We'll watch it again. Now it's going to take Noah to again break out the concentration. Colson just misses it. John, one of the big reasons for a pitcher, especially a left-hander, using a changeup with confidence to throw it is that you're going to establish the inside part of the plate with your fastball and occasional cutter. That makes the changeup away look that much better. It gives you more room, and when you learn to use it, you'll have hitters that won't be able to sit on it. Not when you throw in the mid to high 90s most of the time. They cannot sit on a change.
2-0 the count here to Joshua Kuroda Grauer.
There is that cutter, and that does set up something away, not necessarily on 2-1, but certainly for a wipeout pitch in this at bat. You look at the cutter inside. Hitters have a hard time getting the hands out on that pitch, especially at 90 miles an hour.
Goes back to it again upstairs. Another one fouled away. Strike two.
Young lady was very happy. It's souvenir day on Kids Day at the ballpark.
As she inspects all the seams.
That one Noah tried to overthrow. Turned out to be a good pick by Teal.
Three-two. Popped up. It is Majdroth from the grass moving over and makes the grab. Well, Major League Baseball is taking over Philly with the game's biggest events. The action begins with the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on Netflix July 13th at 7 p.m. Then catch the 96th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 14th at 7 p.m. on Fox. Langoliers pulls that one foul.
Nice catch off the net.
There's always that debate for young kids. I remember growing up, Little League. When do you start throwing breaking balls? When are you supposed to develop the hook, the slider? I remember when I was growing up, fastball changeup, that was all I had, and it was certainly effective, certainly at that age.
I was going to say, if you can get it over the plate, that's fine. Gabe Morales eventually pointing foul.
A new toy. Schultz ahead in the count. 0-2. Just 73 pitches so far. And he gets the ground ball to the right side. Mydroth makes the play as Noah Schultz gets through 5.
My name is Christopher McNutt Jr. I play for White Sox Ace in Chicago, and my position is shortstop. My favorite current White Sox player is Colson Montgomery. My earliest baseball memory is when I was in my backyard switching with my dad. I think I'm really good at juggling. My Mount Rushmore of Major League Baseball players, current and former, is Tim Anderson, Ronald Acuna Jr., Willie Mays, and Jackie Robinson.
Christopher, that is quite a list. I like that.
Pretty good players on that list.
Steve had Willie Mays roaming the outfield for him early in your career.
That was pretty amazing. At 39, he was still the best center fielder in the game.
First pitch popped up by Miguel Vargas, but into the seats out of play. All the scoring in this one was done early. Solo home run by Shea Langoliers put the A's on top 1-0, and the White Sox responded with 6 runs in the first inning.
A couple of home runs, Antonacci and Montgomery. Montgomery's was a 3-run shot.
This half inning is brought to you by Prevagen. A double and a single so far today for Miguel Vargas. And he swings and misses at the changeup, strike 3. That's now 3 straight punch outs for JT Ginn.
Well, the stuff certainly has come back to him because he's throwing pitches that look like strikes when they leave his hand, but he's getting a lot of swings out of the strike zone. This is what it's been like all year for him. However, Sox ambushed him in the first. That leads to a fairly comfortable lead at this point. There's a look at Jordan Hicks, who continues to throw in the pen.
For guys who aren't all-stars, what does the all-star break look like, especially for a pitcher or a reliever, guys who need to rest their arm a little bit?
Well, it pretty much depends on how introspective that player is. Some guys use the all-star break to break down the first half of the season, see what went right, see what went wrong, and then you keep the good stuff and you discard the bad stuff because it happened already. It just becomes a learning experience. Some guys just want 3 days away and don't want to use anything except relaxation.
That one is plunked into center field, so Colson Montgomery, his first hit today.
I had one all-star break where I sat down with a yellow legal pad and I wrote down all the reasons why I hadn't performed as well as I would like. And for the first time, I recognized them as, well, the reason why I had to that point a mediocre performance. They were rationalizations. When I looked at it, I said, okay, I got to come up with a system that will allow me to win. That was all accomplished during the all-star break. And I came up with the idea for myself that if you do A, B, C, D, E, and F, G is winning. So you have 6 things that you need to do before you get to the winning aspect of it. And it seemed to work out pretty well after that. And one of the reasons why it is always your mind that controls your body. And the players that discover that early are going to be much better. If you allow your body to control your mind, it's a recipe for defeat.
At this level, things come at you so fast, and you're playing every single day. It's hard to kind of take a breath and step back from things and reflect like you can when you get a few days off of the all-star break.
Yeah, I mean, that's the time to try to accomplish things mentally that you didn't have a chance to do in the first half. And then you just break down why it went well, why it went poorly. It seems to work out for a lot of guys very well. John, these days they have so many tools to explain why this batting stroke is not working at any given time, why this pitching motion is working. Bullpen is working. Jose Suarez listening up. But we're going to see the bullpens in use here pretty quickly for both teams, you would expect.
Good hitting count, 3 balls and a strike here to Andrew Benintendi. I mean, think about a guy like Edgar Caro, right? Did not have a great first half of the season, sent down to AAA. And part of that was so that he could establish a really good habit consistently. And then he could figure out once he came back here to the big leagues to just repeat that every day.
Well, we certainly root for Edgar, and this is a young guy. He's been one of the youngest guys in every league he's played in. Hit well enough last year, came out this year, just wasn't working for him. But a switch hitting catcher, especially a guy who's hit at every level and had success at every level, you probably can anticipate he will figure it out.
Sometimes you just need to get away from the bright lights. Go down to AAA. You're playing every day, but you can also test and experiment with things that you can't really do at the big league level.
No, you're not going to experiment too much here. It's too tough to stay here to do a lot of experimentation.
Way inside, ball 4 to Benny. It's time now for a message from Eagle River.
Get way out there. Eagle River, Wisconsin.
So that's going to be it. Suarez is going to come into this game. He's going to inherit runners at first and second. Only one out as the Sox look for a few more runs. The day is done for Ginn. Get a nice bounce back after a horrible first inning. And as he walks out, we're going to step out and we'll be back. This call to the pen is brought to you by Lexus of Orland, and there's a look at Jose Suarez out for the 32nd time with an ERA of 4.44.
I love that story about the legal pad. We can kind of figure out and just see it in front of you and really ingest it. Was there somebody who gave you that tip, or you just came up with it on your own?
I used to use it all the time to write out various things that I wanted to remember or change.
Something very powerful about writing things down with a pen and paper. I know everything is kind of electronic nowadays, but even when I prepare my game notes, I write everything down on paper just because that's how I ingest and remember things.
And certainly the computers have taken over. There's a lot of areas they don't teach cursive anymore. Kyle looked back to Doug Eddings and wanted to know if that was a strike. Doug said yes, on the corner.
One ball, 2 strikes. As Teal in protection mode fouls that one off. Teal slashes that one into center field, and it's going to fall in front of Bolte. Now the runners had to hold, so Montgomery stops at third, and the bases are now loaded.
Teal has 2 for 3 day to this point. He gets a hold of a high fastball. This is not a strike. Kyle, who is very strong, takes that one right back up the middle. As the Sox look for another substantial inning here in the 5th.
Big opportunity for Braden Montgomery. On the ground, and it'll get through into left field. Colson scores. White Sox get one more. And it's now a 7-1 lead here in the 5th inning.
And that's 4 driven in by Montgomery, this time from the right side. 3-run homer came from the left side. He gets just enough of it to ease it through the infield and keep the hit parade coming.
I caught up with Tristan Peters before the game, and he said the last 48 hours have been pure chaos, but in the best way possible. Named a first-time All-Star, changed his All-Star break plans, and he said when he found out the news, his first call was to his wife, then his parents, then his agent, and he's going to apologize to anybody he has not gotten back to yet. Backhanded stop. They get one at second, and Peters safe at first as Benintendi scores. That's an 8-1 White Sox lead now.
This is a good pick, and then the attempt at the 3-6-1, but not with Peters running.
Tristan said it hasn't really sunk in yet what has really happened over the last 48 hours. He said, but I do need to take some time and just celebrate everything that has happened over the first half of this year.
Well, I think when you look back at his recent career, you look down at that uniform, you see bananas on it, member of the Savannah Bananas, and thinking, I think I'm going to make the All-Star team. Probably that thought process wasn't there.
It is just one of the many incredible stories that makes up this 2026 White Sox team.
And I truly believe he's one of the great stories in baseball. When you look at where he came from, how he made the team, and after making the team, what's happened to him, it's really remarkable.
Grew up playing baseball and hockey in Canada. Moved when he was 16 years old to a baseball facility in the western part of the country. Then went to a junior college, Southern Illinois, played a month with the Savannah Bananas for college ball before he was drafted. And he wasn't even a lock to make the team this season. That's the craziest part of this entire story.
Well, I think for the most part, he made it because of his speed and his ability to play center field. Sox knew they were a little short in center. Tristan filled that bill and then some.
Mydroth skips over that one. Peters to second. And it'll get into center field. Teal will score. And the White Sox have now put up 3 runs here in this 5th inning.
Well, it turns out to be a very good block. That part for Langoliers is very good. And this throw, not very good. Ball skips away. Run comes home. Peters to third.
Three and two the count here to Chase Mydroth. This is the kind of game you want to see from this young White Sox team entering to the All-Star break. Taking extra bases, taking advantage of mistakes, and a 9-1 lead over the A's. 3-2. Six in the first, 3 more here in the 5th. It is all White Sox today.
Are proud to honor our hero of the game, Today we pay tribute to Petty Officer First Class Jerry Gilbert of the United States Navy.
That is today's GovX hero of the game and a new pitcher on the mound.
Jordan Hicks comes on for the 28th time. Lately, he's been throwing it exceptionally well. The command issues that he experienced have pretty much gone away. We'll see how it plays out today, but he's been a very dependable arm recently.
That means the end of the day for Noah Schultz, who goes 5 innings. Do you feel like this was an outing that got him back on track?
Yeah, I believe that the Sox, Zach Bove, are going to love what they saw in Noah Schultz today. He pitched over some errors. He gave up 4 hits. He didn't walk anybody. Did hit 1 and fanned 4. All things considered, pitching out of that 4th inning where it started with an error and pitching over that, that's part of the learning process for young pitchers, and Noah is one of those. And so there were a lot of positives to come out of this particular outing.
100 out of the zone, and the strikeout for Jordan Hicks.
First thing that Heim said was to Thomas coming up, he's talking about a little late life upstairs.
So the A's are actually going to go to their bench when it's going to be Carlos Cortez, the pinch hitter.
And pinch pitcher in this series.
Yes. We did see him on the mound in the opener of this series. But I loved your point about Schultz. No walks. That feels like a huge step forward for him that allowed his pitch count to stay down. 74 pitches today.
And there was a couple of errors behind him, yet he pitched over both. So again, it's good progress. I'm sure Zach Bove is going to go over each and every inning and what he did. But all things considered, this was a step forward for Noah.
And now you got to love where Jordan Hicks is at with his command. Always had the velocity, but this guy is around the zone. I mean, look what he has done in his last 7 appearances.
Nary a run with 12 strikeouts and just 1 walk. Historically, that type of run for Jordan Hicks wouldn't have been there because he'd have walked a few guys.
Check swing, rolls foul. Top of the 6th. This half inning is brought to you by Elgin Hyundai. Sox with a chance to have at least a share of the lead in the division heading into the All-Star break. That would be huge for this team.
The Guardians leading the Marlins 3-1. That game in the top of the 7th.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Hicks since coming on.
Bottom of the zone. It's a fastball.
That's our Postman Law delivery of the game. Others promise. Postman delivers. So if the White Sox hold on and get the win here, they will finish the first half in first place for the first time since 2021.
And it would be their 50th win.
A lot of important milestones on the line here. Ooh, 101 on the corner.
Hicks has been feeling pretty good because he's not only moving the ball up and down, he's moving it in and out, and that one just barely caught the corner.
1-2. I mean, this is modern pitching, right? It's not just guys who are throwing gas at 100+. It's 101 with movement on it.
Yeah, that's somewhat surprising. That's a two-seam fastball. They call it a sinker.
Yes, sir. Jordan Hicks strikes out the side. He's got some nasty streak going right now. Welcome back. Check out the Family Fan Cam, brought to you by Malman Law. If you've been injured in an auto accident, they fight like family for you. 27,175 fans here at the ballpark. So for the final 3-game series, it was a sold-out Friday night, had over 22,000 yesterday, and now over 27,000 here for the finale.
Fans have been coming out. They've been very enthusiastic. Today they've had a lot to cheer about.
Well, we just saw a proposal between innings. Zachary and Alicia, congratulations. She said yes, emphatically. Everybody went nuts.
It's always a good plan. Make sure they're going to say yes.
It's a ground ball to Williams at second. And one away as we start this bottom of the 6th. All right, yesterday was something really cool. White Sox had the Alumni Home Run Derby. Daniel Palka was out there. Larry Garcia, Gordon Beckham, Scott Pasednik, Brian Anderson, and Jose Canseco. And after 3 rounds, it was Larry Garcia taking home the title. But I gotta say, our guy Gordon Beckham, he put up a fight. He got there to the finale and was going swing for swing with Garcia. And Brooke, it was just a cool moment to see Gordon out there, and when he got a little tired, his 2 boys came out and gave him a little lift.
Oh, it was so cute. And, you know, talk about Jet and Bodie, his 2 young boys. I think that is what meant the most for Gordon, is because, you know, they didn't have their kids when Gordon was playing baseball. And so just being able just to kind of share that moment with Jet. I remember Gordon said what the biggest moment of the day was when they were going to the car. And Jet goes, "Dad, you were amazing out there." And Gordon said he would never forget that moment. But it was cool to still see, you know, he's got it. He had 11 homers yesterday. It was pretty impressive stuff.
It was really good. Guys still looked good in their uniforms, still in shape. And the best part, I don't think anybody got hurt.
But they're going to feel it today. I can guarantee you that those guys are going to feel it. That's what Ron Kittle said while he didn't participate. He said, "I could participate, no doubt, but for a month I'd be sore."
Ground ball, that's a fair ball. And the flip in time, a couple outs here to start this bottom of the 6th. Brian Anderson might have been one of the better stories because he was only notified on 24 hours notice. Said he hadn't really taken a swing in 2 years. And his first round, I think he had like 8 or 9 home runs. Once he got in the groove, his swing looked like it was dialed in.
John, his first round performance was insane. I'm like, how? You definitely have taken some swings. There's no way you haven't picked up a bat in 2 years and go out and perform like that. I don't know.
He's jacked, though. He was still looking strong. Well, my personal favorite, the guy who took me back to being a little kid, Jose Canseco. To be out there at 62 years old, and he made it to the 2nd round because he kept hitting a couple bombs. To see him still do it as a youngster growing up loving him, that was a thrill for me.
John, what was it like meeting him?
Oh, he was even cooler. You know, sometimes they say never meet your idols because they'll disappoint you.
Yeah.
That was not the case with Jose Canseco. Could not have been a better guy, and he still looks amazing at 62. Are you ready for your winning moment? Find it at Wind Creek Chicago Southland, where the action never stops. Play the hottest table games, enjoy the newest slots, and celebrate big jackpots. At Wind Creek, there's a win waiting for you around every corner. Now that is the move today. The milkshake on a hot Sunday afternoon.
Get a little chocolate melted on. The rim of the glass, that's pretty good. Or in this case, the plastic. It's still pretty good.
New pitcher on the mound for the White Sox as we start this 7th inning.
Sir Anthony Dominguez trying to put together a Hicks-like inning. Jordan Hicks, 1 inning, 3 strikeouts with awesome stuff today. On for the 36th time, his ERA a little above 4.5.
The best part about Hicks is that he just seems so in control right now, throwing every pitch wherever he wants it. Dominguez gets the ground ball, and Murakami says, I will keep it myself. 1 away.
There's really no telling when the light turns on for a guy that once threw a fastball over 105 miles an hour. But finding his command, he becomes a very valuable man out of the bullpen. That lengthens the bullpen for Will and Zach Bove, and couldn't come at a better time because he's healthy and got a little less than half a season to go. So Mark Leiter Jr. loosening up in the pen for the A's.
Here's another guy on the mound the White Sox would love to find his confidence again, find his control. Sir Anthony Dominguez. As Bolte having an equipment issue, the Velcro just doesn't seem to want to stick.
Well, sometimes around the All-Star break it gets worn out, you know. It's an all-encompassing game.
Good thing is at this level they don't have to pay for new ones.
Not usually, no.
I always feel for parents when I see the rising price tags of all the equipment that kids are using these days. Those sliding mitts, armbands, even batting gloves, how expensive they are now.
Probably the most expensive for your son or daughter is the hockey gear. If you want to start to play in organized hockey, you got stuff everywhere. Knees, the elbows, everything.
See some of those kids with the hockey gear, the bag's bigger than they are. Two.
Well out in front of that one. Telling his friend just exactly what he did. He came out of the sun, angled my body, had no problem then catching it. Now it had to be 140 miles an hour coming my way.
The best part is he's going to tell a few more people as this day goes on. The story's just going to get a little bit better each time. Not only was it in the sun, I had a drink in my right hand. What a view that is. Three, 2. 98 at the knee, strike 3. Join us at the ballpark on Saturday, August 8th, as the White Sox take on the Guardians at 6:15 p.m. 15,000 fans in attendance receive an Ozzie Guillen replica jersey as we retire his iconic number 13. It is presented by Verve, a credit union. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/Ozzie.
Make your plans to be here during that series with the Guardians. That's going to be a dandy.
Popped up. It is Teal trying to locate it, and he makes the catch. A nice quick 1-2-3 7th inning for Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Time now for the good hands replay presented by Allstate. Kyle Teal comes over, makes a great catch, still has a mask in his hand. Apparently someone maybe at one time stole the mask after he threw it off, so now he just carries it with him. I assure you, at this venue, you're going to have it if you drop it someplace.
You know we're going to ask him about that now.
Mark Leiter Jr. coming out for the 35th time. His ERA a touch above 4.5.
I'll tell you what else I liked about that. Sir Anthony Dominguez, he's a guy the White Sox, they need him to be able to figure things out. That was a quick inning.
Well, this is one of the ways to reestablish your position in the bullpen. When you're asked to do the job, just go out, no drama, get it done, don't walk anybody, and eventually there's no doubt he'll be back, maybe not at the top of the closer role, but maybe a good setup man as Tyler Schweitzer starts loosening up for the Sox.
Colson Montgomery picked up his first hit of the game, his last time up in the 5th, as he would come around to score. White Sox putting up 3 runs in that inning. But he goes down swinging on the splitter, out number 1. Today is all about Andrew Benintendi honoring his 10 years of service time that he has hit today. And the White Sox, we talked about, had a huge celebration for him in the clubhouse. As he rips this one, sliding stop, Williams, and throws out Benintendi at first. But Benny said he's not one of those guys who loves having the spotlight on him. So he said he was a little bit uncomfortable about it, but he did appreciate the love. And I asked him, I said, was there a guy for you coming up early years in Major League Baseball that really looked out for you and kind of paved the way? And he said, yeah. He goes, when I was first called up with that Red Sox team in 2016, it was in August, so only had a couple more months in the regular season. And Dustin Pedroia came up to me and said, look, rookie, I've got a huge house. I got an extra bedroom. If you want to stay with me, you can definitely crash at my place. You're always welcome. He goes, really? He goes, hell yeah, I'll stay with you. And he's always remembered veterans taking him under his wing, and that's what he has done for this White Sox team this year.
And he's done a fine job of it.
Tune in to Picks to Click in the postgame show with Chuck and Ozzy, presented by the Bob Lacurcio Auto Group. You're going to like buying a car this way.
And there's a look at Tyler Schweitzer, on for the 6th time, his ERA of 4.5. He's called on to get 3 outs and get out of there quickly.
So he will come on to face the top of the order, Jacob Wilson. 1 for 3, reached on an error his last time up in the 5th. This one he golfs into center as Peters to his right makes the catch.
From the first pitch to the final out, plus pre and post game coverage, stream White Sox baseball live on the CHSN app. Get started today at subscribe.chsn.com. Chicago Sports Network, full stream ahead.
It's kind of hard to believe that we are winding down this first half of the season. Just a few more outs until the All-Star break. As you reflect on just this overall team, what will you take with you into the break that stands out?
The fact that there were some games that were not particularly good games, but the hustle was there each and every day.
And Tanachi plays this one off the wall as Kuroda Grauer picks up his first hit today, a double with one out in this 8th inning.
I think the culture of this team is such that they never let down. They get outplayed. Every major league team gets outplayed at times, but when they do lose games, it's not from lack of hustle. And that's the culture that Will and his staff laid down in spring training, and it will hold them in good stead the rest of the way through this season.
One of the things that I've loved about this team is that no matter who has been called up, they have contributed something positive to the success of this team this year. Look at Braden Montgomery, his first game, that walk-off he had. Drew Roma, when he got called up, he was going on a home run spree.
Well, you're right. When you bring 12 guys up to make their major league debut in less than half a season by the time all 12 got here, then it has to be a tight clubhouse that these guys are getting into. They're welcomed. They're explained what is expected of them. It's worked out really well.
Randall Grichuk, he's turned back the clock. He's found some fun with the youth and the young team. Acuna now, I mean, the plays he made yesterday at shortstop.
Justin Sterner warming up in the bullpen for the A's. Another guy we've seen in this series.
Schweitzer missing upstairs. 3-2 the count here to Langoliers. His solo home run in the first. All the scoring for the A's today. Ground ball, and is backhanded. And Colson Montgomery's throw across in time, out number 2.
That was a question of knowing who's running. You know that it's Langoliers who's the catcher. Colson just took his time, got it over there a step ahead of time.
Kuroda Grauer with his double on at second with 2 down in this 8th inning. Good fastball.
This one away, a little above belt high.
Changeup called for strike 2.
Just barely got a piece upstairs.
White Sox pitchers holding the A's to just 5 hits so far today.
Things have gone very well from the mound in this series to this point. 25 2/3, just 14 hits, only 2 runs, lots of strikeouts, very few walks. Those are good numbers for any series.
And now Schweitzer just has to figure out how to finish off Jonah Heim.
Just yell at him to put it in play. One way or the other, put it in play. You're wearing me out.
They all got planes to catch. Two. This one is in play. Mydroff knocks it down and still gets the runner at first. What a job by Chase Mydroff at second.
Outstanding play to end the inning. Full extension, corrals the baseball, and it helps that Heim is a catcher. Memorable moment presented by Prevagen, and it came off the bat of Braden Montgomery. In the first inning, this capped off the scoring. Just out of reach of Butler, a 3-run homer for Montgomery. That made it at the time 6-1. Justin Sterner on for the 45th time. He's been a busy man. ERA a tick over 5.
Braden Montgomery in the air, left center field. As Bolte makes the catch, 1 down as we start this bottom of the 8th inning. Take a look at some of the scores. The Cubs beating the Reds 8-4, bottom of the 9th. Phillies a 5-0 lead over the Tigers. That one is also bottom of the 9th in Detroit. Yankees a 5-3 lead over the Nationals, top of the 9th in DC. Guardians a 4-1 lead over the Marlins in Miami, bottom of the 8th inning. As Tristan Peters singles into center field.
For the Guardians, Ryan Rocchio, who broke the hearts of the Sox with a walk-off 2-run homer, has homered again today. So he found something.
Tell you what else is going down. Things got a little testy in Baltimore. The Orioles and the Royals. Bench is cleared in that one. Blaze Alexander was hit by a pitch by Lucas Erceg. They exchanged words, and then the bullpens, everybody came out onto the field.
I think it's the humidity. I don't think it was getting to everybody.
Orioles with an 8-2 lead over the Royals that game in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Tough first part of this year for the Royals. But they did get Pasquantino back.
Popped up. Langoliers. Excuse me, no, the new catcher in there. Servin gets rid of the mask. Let's go down to Brooke.
And as we're talking around the league, guys, Jacob Misiorowski will miss today's start versus Paul Skeens. Pat Murphy, the manager, said he just didn't bounce back after his last start. He said the best term to describe it is he's still dealing with fatigue, which means he's also going to miss Tuesday's All-Star game.
Wow, that is a big update, Brooke. Thank you so much. A lot of people were looking forward to seeing him in Philadelphia.
Well, there's a few folks that probably were not looking forward to it, and most of them reside in the front office of the Brewers.
It's one of the things Will Venable addressed earlier this week by having Munetaka Murakami, who is waiting on deck, participate in the home run derby. He said, no, it's not going to affect his swing. It's not going to have any impact on his season. And we want guys on our team to be able to participate. That is a huge honor for him to do something like that.
Certainly is that.
Popped up, Kuroda Grauer. Long run in foul territory, but he runs out of room.
Almost went head first into the dugout. That was by the camera well down there. He sees where he is and realizes that he has run out of room officially.
He was just going over to say what's up to Brooke.
That time. Okay. You got me?
Yes.
Yeah, I learned from Cleveland, guys, you just have to move just in case. You can't wait till the last minute.
And Tanachi flies this one in the air to left field. Cortez backing up. We will go to the ninth as the White Sox, a 9-1 lead, looking to wrap this one up over the A's.
Time now for the upcoming schedule presented by Toyota. Let's go places, and the places are Philadelphia for the All-Star game. That comes up next. Then the first road trip, it's going to be Toronto and Texas. That's not going to be an easy trip, but that's the first out of the chute when play resumes.
A couple of those games in Toronto will be on a national broadcast, so we have the middle game of that one. I'll be off that series, rejoin the team in Texas. I know you get a chance to see your dogs in Phoenix.
They will be very happy. 10 days of snacks.
Oof. Is there anything better than that greeting when they first see you open that door coming home?
No, and they're fairly substantial dogs, so there is a lot of collisions in the foyer.
Schweitzer trying to bring this one home. After coming on in the 8th inning, he faces Cortez here in a 2-2 count. Ground ball and underneath the glove of Murakami, so a single by the A's to start this 9th inning.
Time now for a slide of the game presented by Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. And Chase Mydroth to his left. Corrals the baseball and throws out Heim at first base, who can't believe he couldn't get a hit there. He was incredulous and surprised. Nice play. Mydroth has had a nice first part of this year.
Chopper over the middle. It is Montgomery to Mydroth to Murakami. 6-4-3 double play turn.
There was an important double play in the first inning, and this one in the 9th inning. It's our Steinhoffels double play. Steinhoffels donates $200 to Special Spaces Illinois for every double play. Double plays that make a difference, and they all do.
You know, we've been reflecting on the first half of the season, really celebrating the play of everyone here for the White Sox, the front office, the coaches. We got to give a shout out to the fans and really thank White Sox fans for showing up here at the rate, bringing the energy, bringing the excitement. There is so much fun at the ballpark this year.
But look, I think the standing ovation all around the ballpark is a testament to how this team has grown on the fans. The fans have embraced these guys because they play very hard. And the fans see that each and every day live and on CHSN when we're on the road.
White Sox needing one more strike. Grounded to Mydroth. And that's going to do it. White Sox complete the sweep over the A's after scoring just 2 runs in that 3-game series against the Red Sox. White Sox allow just 2 runs by the A's here in this 3-game set.
Well, it was quite a series, and to be in first place at the All-Star break. Pretty impressive. And John, enjoy your time off. I will enjoy mine when we regroup. Hopefully these guys are in first place by themselves.
I like that thought. Let's take a look at the standings as the White Sox a half-game lead as we wait for the results of the Guardians game. Either way you put it, the White Sox will go into the All-Star break in first place in the AL Central. We appreciate you once again spending your Sunday afternoon with us. For Connor McKnight in Philly, Brooke Fletcher, Steve Stone, I'm John Schriffen. Thank you so much. White Sox a 9-1 win over the A's. Keep it locked in after the break. You got White Sox postgame live presented by Yingling.